Stuart. Why you laugh?
I don't know. Welcome to the Jolly Soul podcast.
Yeah.
A place to make your soul feel good.
Yeah.
Why am I laughing though? I love that. It's because I'm happy. I've got a jolly soul. Why wouldn't I be laughing? I can't help myself.
So these cards are going to determine...
I also think that when you're laughing, like, it makes other people laugh. So
yeah, it does.
straight in with laughter. Right, okay. So as you know, on our Instagram, we've got loads of quotes and pictures. And we've printed a big... wad of them off, and Stu's going to pick one now, and then we're going to do our 10 minutes based on complete random of the one that Stuart actually picks. So grab any.
I think I'm going to go that one.
Okay.
Go.
Read it out. Show me so I can find
There
it.
we go. It's that one.
Okay. You want to read it out?
Okay, so this one is: appreciate these moments, however they look. You definitely won't get to live them again. These moments are precious beyond belief, for they create the memories of your future.
There you go. All right, I found it. Okay, so sometimes you won't recognize the value of a moment until it's gone.
No.
Ah, right, okay.
That's so true as well.
Most of it.
That is so true, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's so many things. I don't know if anybody else gets this, but I get it a lot where I'll just have like these realizations. I think like because I'm living with sort of a lot of people who've like passed in my life, I feel like that really gives you a sense of like you've got to appreciate it, because you just, I mean, that's really gloomy, isn't it? You don't know when it's going to end. Wow.
Yeah.
Straight in there, guys.
Better make the most of it.
Make the most
before
of now.
it's over.
Before you die. Right, anyway. But it's so true how much that makes you value the moment. But I don't know if like that's just me. I do it a lot. I did it this morning actually so Molly was going to her first residential.
Oh, yeah.
She's like 8 years old.
So way out
and
there.
it's just for me, wow. So I'm just heartbroken. No, I'll get to it. But she's gone today, and you said something which was about college.
Yeah, it's like she's going to
sending
college.
her to college or university. And for me, like, just in that moment, I was like, wow. And it just really made me think, like, I've got to sort of really value the moment just a little bit more. And I do, as a parent, I always try to do that. But I was just, it just really sort of shook me into a moment where I was like, you know, that's 10 years. And she'll be probably heading off to uni. And 10 years, the 8 years that we've had her has gone like that. So another 10 is just nothing. No. So, you know, I just think you've really got to find ways of being in the moment. And
it's like with that being in the moment, it's, you know, generally we find that when you take it for granted as such, like, you know, like these moments won't come again. Yeah. Generally I find there's that the wait for like something tragic to happen if someone has passed away. Oh yeah. Then they have this reflection and realization and go, well, I'm going to live my life now. That's it. I'm going to do everything possible. And for me, I've always thought, why do we have to wait till that moment, till somebody's like is gone? And for them to go and for you to value that moment, that you should have maybe pressured a bit more, you know, precious. Oh, is that word precious? Precious. Well, what the word? Like,
I'm not trying to show what you're trying to say.
You know, like trying to, you know,
value the moment.
Just like so, you know, capture that and make the most of that time, and like make it more and like value the moment there instead of just being there. And then it's gone, and then you kind of like don't think about it.
I wonder like how you get so sucked into life like that, because like I remember when I found out the really bad news about like my dad, and I remember I was like in this unbelievable state of shock and almost like a fear, and like nothing mattered. I was just like, nothing matters. All of this is absolute rubbish. What am I getting so worked up about in all these different areas of my life? Like, ultimately, it just, not that, you know, obviously that's the end and then nothing matters, but I just meant like, it just seemed like so many things were so trivial. And I just was like, right, we'll just deal with that. Just deal with that. I didn't even like look into it. It was just like, if that needs to be done, just do it.
Yeah.
And I think that was such a, like, obviously it was the worst time ever, but I almost feel like it was such a like good place to live your life by, just like no kind of care or like really negative or any. I was just like almost like emotionless, which doesn't sound like a good step, but
no.
In order to just deal with kind of like some of the rubbish that you have to deal with,
it hits you, doesn't it? Because I think it's also you programming it in your mind to be like all of a sudden you can't go back. I think that's what it is, and you just can't. And so like when you realize you can't go back, then you hit this reset in your mind. It's like, I'm gonna be right here then.
Yeah.
You know, and like.
But I think like the thing is that it's not just about, because like obviously people have really difficult relationships with people. And I think, you know, you could say, well, you know, it's all going to be over one day, let's just make amends. And I think that's true to a degree, but then also, I think it's like the little things that get to you when it comes to relationships. If it's something like, you know, it might, like, say if it was parents and it might not, like you said, they're looking after your kids. Just as an example, a lot of parents say this, you know. It might be that, you know, they're not doing it maybe to how you want them to do it. And it's like something as simple as that you might find yourself complaining about. And it's like, rather than complaining, it's like coming to peace with like different situations, if you see what I mean.
Yeah.
And then, but then if there is unhealthy relationships in your life, like not almost being afraid to like say goodbye to those relationships as well. I think what you've got to find is like not a level where you're being like, it's all right to be kind to everyone, but I think you need to be kind to yourself. And I think that's one lesson that I had to learn massively. And I still have to grow with that because, you know, there's a lot of people who I know, people pleasers. And I've always been like that myself, where to be fair, I'd always think of other people than myself. In a lot of different scenarios, I'd always be thinking about, oh, well, how do they feel? And I wouldn't like to upset them. And even though I might be quite a strong person, I wouldn't appear to always be like that. I would feel like I lived with a lot of like guilt and stuff. So I think understanding that has been really good for me to grow from. But yeah, I think it's about really like when you say about living in the moment, I think it's ways in which you can find that yourself. Like how can I always remind myself to be in this moment, and that actually, you know, a lot of things are not really that important to get upset about. You know, like the little things. Not
really.
It's like,
when
don't
you think
sweat
about
the small
it,
stuff. You hear that a lot, don't you? It's like, it's so true not to.
Yeah, of course it is. And the thing is as well, we all do it. And then you realise it's those after things of like, oh, what am I doing there? Like, what am I actually bothered about it for? Or why is this affecting my life?
I think you get sort of lost in an emotion sometimes. Yeah. Like you get like, it's easy just to kind of find your way in an emotion, and then that, I find like that drives you. And so I think one thing that you can do is really assess the emotions that you're kind of going through day to day. I know that I did like a life assessment like that a couple of years ago, and I found that, to be fair, a lot of the time I was like living with anger, and it wasn't that I was always externally angry, so people wouldn't necessarily always know that, but it was just like this frustration that was in me like all the time.
Yeah.
And obviously, like for myself, it was just, you know, there was always a lot of anger growing up, and that's that peer kind of like example. And it's not to blame anyone, it's just that's how a lot of it was.
Yeah.
And I think it's like a natural, you know, like fight or flight, people have that sort of mechanism, and mine's always fight, you know. And so it's just so natural and easy for me to go to that negative anger. And I think you have to find out who you are, and you've got to then learn from that and then grow from that. And then like for me, I do a lot of things to make sure that I don't have that kind of pent up energy. Like I'll go and have a run, or I'll go on the bike, and do you know what I mean? Just like get it out of my system. And then meditation, as much as I possibly can.
That's what they say with meditation. It's the one that gets you into the moment the most, pretty much. Well, just for, you know, for me, or for, you know, but it might not, but exercise and things.
Yeah, yoga.
And I find if I don't do that, it's like I go through the day and I'm like, I just don't feel myself.
Yeah.
I feel alright, I feel good, don't get me wrong, but I think that I need to make sure that I have that, like my mantra, if you like, and it's just to definitely appreciate moments. I've got to make sure that I'm ready to do that, because I can switch off quite easily sometimes, and an hour's gone in my life, and I don't really know what's actually happened in there. So I think it's really,
meditation helps you keep focused.
It does keep you focused, keep switched on, and also with the fitness and health and all that kind of stuff, and biking, whatever you do, I think that's important. To obviously,
so have a look at that. Have a think about like your emotions. Think about your emotions. Think about the kind of things that you can be doing day to day to help you, and where you can grow from. But most importantly is just try to appreciate the moment as much as you can, even though you're going through struggles and I get it. We've done that ourselves, haven't we? We've been through so much, and grow from it. Okay, I hope you've enjoyed today's inspo, and we'll catch you soon on the next episode.
Okay, take care.